Welcome to Organizational Behavior with Siphiwe Moyo. I've always thought academic principles are boring. I've spent a lot of time teaching at business schools, and I've taught at 4 business schools in the world. And I've also been an HR specialist, an organizational behavior specialist. But I've always wanted to create conversations where we can make these things accessible, right? And we can talk about how do you use academically sound principles of behavioral science, of organizational behavior to actually help us lead in the workplace. And I've always thought there's just this gap between practice and academia. And I'm just here to bridge this gap. So welcome to the channel. Stick with me, baby. My name is Siphiwe Moyo. And today I want to just chat to you about fostering good relationships at work is actually good for what I call collaborative intelligence. There's really no doubt that if we are going to thrive in this world of work, we cannot rely on one person. We need to make sure that people in our teams are collaborating. And this can be tricky because sometimes all the people in your teams are trying to impress you. Everybody is making sure that they are extremely good in their functional area of expertise. They want to make sure they impress you, but how do we actually get people to collaborate effectively? And I think for me, it's about really cultivating proper relationships between the team members. I remember this one day when I saw this research by Gallup for the first time that asked, do you have a best friend at work? When I looked at it, I was like, what? Who needs a best friend at work, let alone a best friend? Maybe not even a friend. It's interesting because the way we've been brought up to believe that go at work, do your thing, get out of there. There's no time to make friends. There's no time to do anything. Protect your space. And we've been brought up like that. But it turns out that having a friend at work is very good for a few things. Number one, it's good for your engagement as a person. You are more engaged if you have a friend at work. It's good for your satisfaction, job satisfaction. You are more satisfied at work if you have a friend at work. But even better, it's actually good for life satisfaction. That's huge because that means if I have a friend at work, I'm even more satisfied about how my life is turning out. I mean, that's really, really huge. And so it is in our best interest as leaders to cultivate an environment where people can have good relationships at work. This is good for cohesion in the team, but it's also quite good for performance. We really need to get people to collaborate very well. So we want to talk about that because we all want our teams to collaborate effectively. So why is it so hard? Why are people not collaborating? I bumped into a study by the World Economic Forum. They called it partnering for success. And in the study, they talk about a few reasons why people don't collaborate. And I remember the top 3. I always remember the top 3. That's why when you talk to me, please don't name 7 things. I can't remember 7 things. Stick to 3. Why are you going to number 4? So I think the first big thing why people don't collaborate is a lack of trust or a break in trust. That's a big, big issue. And by the way, there's nothing called organizational trust. If I trust you as a person, human to human, then I'm able to collaborate with you. So leaders must spend a lot of time to ensure that people, trust each other. And of course, trust, the so-called 4 C's that contributes to this thing called trust. So your character, your competence, your credibility, and I guess your consistency, right? It's very important to understand. So if I think you're a liar, I think you're inconsistent, and I think you don't know what you're doing and you lack credibility, then I can't trust you. It's like when your girlfriend says, when you discover that your girlfriend is married, and then they say to you, no, don't worry, it's not that serious. I'm just there for the kids. That gender. I'm joking. I hope you know. So these 4 elements of trust are critical. And many times, all it takes is to put people in the room and let them assess the level of trust and have conversations about trust, because it is impossible to collaborate if trust has been broken. The second thing I guess people don't collaborate is a lack of common vision, a common purpose, right? So yes, people are delivering in their functional area, but is there a common purpose that joins them together? And it's the job of the leader to lead this idea of integration so that people understand that their jobs contributes to a bigger common purpose. And there must be this congruence between what people do. There must be a common vision, because I guess, if there's no common vision and common purpose, things won't work. It's like if you're a traveler and you are a bargain traveler, so you look to find bargains all over the world, and then someone wants to find what exclusive accommodation. You can see there's going to be a clash there. So you need to make sure as a leader, you find this integration between what people in your team are doing. And I guess lastly, people don't collaborate because there's a perceived or real inequity in terms of the effort reward equation. So when people believe the effort that I'm putting and the reward that I'm getting, there's a bit of inequity to another person in the team based on the effort and the reward equation. So you want to make sure you spend a bit of time understanding that. I was facilitating a team engagement session another day, and I found that, even the titles of what people are called, people who report to you, can bring a lot of friction in the team. So you want to make sure that you look at these things, because they then give this perceived or real lack of equity. So those are the main 3 reasons why you find that many people don't collaborate. And in team engagement sessions that are facilitated, we can try and help to facilitate a conversation about this and assess and find ways. But don't ignore it as a leader. Sometimes as leaders, we have wait and see approach, and we think things are going to get better, but they're not. It's like when you have a roof leak as a leader, and it's just a small roof leak, and you do nothing about it, it's going to get worse. So get that team together and work on that trust. That's the only way you can benefit from this thing called collaborative intelligence. So if they aren't collaborating, there's at least one main thing that I would recommend for you to build trust in the team. And this is something called self-disclosure. It is impossible to trust each other if we don't know each other. It is impossible to trust each other if we don't know each other personally. Just a little bit of self-disclosure. And depending on where you are around the world, there's obviously some cultures where people are open to talk about their personal things, and some cultures where people are not. But you need a little bit of self-disclosure to be able to get people to trust each other. And I have 2 anecdotes, one based on research, empirical evidence, and one personal anecdote that I want to share with you in this video, and then I'll close. This one, researcher Robert Cialdini did a bit of work, and he quotes these particular sets of studies that were done in 2 big business schools. So people were arriving at the business school for a negotiating module, and they put one group in one room and they put one group in another room, and they were supposed to collaborate on a lot of tasks and negotiate and have agreements in terms of those tasks. In the first group, they said to them, time is money. Get straight to collaborating, get straight to negotiations. We don't have time here. Time is money. In the second group, they said to them, spend a little bit of time trying to understand what people like. You can even ask them really weird questions like, do you like potato chips? Or do you like Manchester United? You should like Manchester United. And so they said, spend a little bit of time just knowing people personally. And then after that, they wanted to see. On the first group, they reached agreements to collaborate about 55% of the time. In the second group, where they said spend a little bit of time knowing each other, they reached agreements 90% of the time. So it's huge. We need self-disclosure. We need people to talk and know each other on a personal level in order for them to collaborate effectively. The second anecdote is a bit personal for me. You know, when I went to business school many years ago to study for my MBA, how do you know someone has an MBA? We tell you. I just told you. You know, we edit in and out of context. It doesn't matter what we're talking about, but we get a way to sneak that in. When I was doing my MBA, so I just did that now. It's just... So a few years ago, when I was studying for my MBA, they put us into these syndicate groups. So these are the groups of people you're going to spend time with for the next 3 years. You'll do group assignments together, exactly like we still do now at some of the business schools that I've had the privilege of teaching in. And so I remember some of the first meetings with this group. And at that time, we still met in each other's houses. I remember hosting them for the first time. My anxiety levels are high. I'm thinking these people don't eat any types of food. They need premium food. I go to one of the premium stores in my home country and I buy premium food that I couldn't even afford. The next person who was hosting, taking from my queue, does the same. And they buy this premium food. Until one day, we were going to meet in another person's house, and we were coming from the same place. And so we had a bit of a lift club and we drove together. Right in the middle of us going there, someone who actually worked for a central bank says, guys, I have to be honest. This thing of meeting in each other's houses and buying this premium food is not working for me. I am broke. Immediately when he says that, all of us are like, me too. And at that time, it was as if the ice had broken. And immediately after that, we started collaborating effectively. Our meetings were effective, and as a team, we gelled. Why? There was a little bit of vulnerability and self-disclosure. So one of the things that you have to do as a team as quickly as possible, when you think about the Tuckman stages of team development, you have to get your team to form as quickly as possible. Put people together, get a facilitator, we can help with that, but get your favorite facilitator, get them into a room and help people bond. And help facilitate some really good questions around that will open people up gradually. So you don't want to start by people disclosing heavy stuff, but gradually get people to relax in a great environment, because there is no collaborative intelligence without self-disclosure. Thank you. So thank you so much for joining me. If you've liked this particular video, please thumbs up, please subscribe to the channel and keep joining me. You know, I'd love to just chat to you. Let me know if this particular content works on the comments below. Let's interact. Let me know if you think you can apply it in the workplace or in your life. General, I'd love to interact with you. And if you want to contact me, I'm a location agnostic professional speaker. Just go to my website, is siphiwemoyo.com, and the website will be right here on the description. I'm looking forward to engaging you.